Shalom, everyone. It's Erev Shabbos again, time for my weekly drush. I want to apologize to those who were expecting a drush last Friday and never received one because it was Shavuot, the Jewish holiday, one of the three big pilgrimage festivals. We had a special program for Shavuot on Thursday night, and therefore I did not do my weekly drush. I actually want to thank the almost 60 people who joined our Shavuot program, our Tikkun with Dr. Miller. It was wonderful as always. Today, instead of talking about the Torah portion, Parashat Naso, I'll tell you a little story. Some random thoughts that came together in my mind in what I hope and I believe is a very clear message. I want to start out by talking about Shirat Hayam, the song of Moses, the song of the crossing of the sea, chapter 15 of the Exodus in the Torah. As a cantor, as a Hazzan, this Shira, since I was a little boy and first learned about it, has always intrigued me. After all, it starts as Yashir Moshe, in the future tense. Then Moses and the children of Israel will sing this song. But I want to specifically focus on a couple of words near the end of the Shira that intrigued me more than the rest of the Shira. In sentence 17 of the Shira, the Torah uses a very interesting choice of words by which Moses praised God for taking the Jewish people out of Egypt after hundreds of years of surgery. It says, Machon leshiftacha pa'alta Hashem, a place, a dwelling place for yourself, God, you have created, pa'alta, you have made, you have built. Mikdash, Hashem konenu yadecha, a sanctuary, a holy dwelling place your hands have formed, have established, oh God. And I always wondered, what does this mean? Well, some commentators feel this is a reference to God choosing us, the Jewish people, to be the chosen people. How? By freeing us from slavery. And how were we to become chosen now that we were free? By giving us the Torah, so that we could become, as Parshat Yitro says, a mamlechet kohanim v'goy kadosh, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, from Exodus 19, sentence 6. But I often wonder to myself, what kind of a sanctified place is the Shirat Hayam, is the Song of the Sea, talking about? And it reminded me of a funny and interesting incident that occurred recently at our evening Zoom minyan. Some people who join our minyan, instead of having the room in which they are Zooming as a backdrop on their computer screen, rather put up some kind of a picture as a backdrop. You see, I have Venetian blinds in my office at B'nai Israel as my backdrop. Some people put up more interesting backdrops, photos they've taken of places they have been or places they yearn to go. Hawaii, wherever, Timbuktu, doesn't really matter. One evening, one of our congregants who attends the minyan every single night, I will say, often husband and wife, both of them, there was no picture up, just the room in which they were Zooming. Another one of our congregants who attends minyan every night came on the minyan, and before we began, this person declared out loud, "Oh my God, you are nowhere." I'm going to say that again. "Oh my God, you are nowhere." It was really funny at the time. We were all laughing because this person did not put up a picture of some place they have been, some photo they have taken, or some place they want to be. And that reminds me of the next incident. We're all stuck at home a lot, right? We're watching movies. So our family recently watched the wonderful movie, The Green Book. came out, I think, a year or two ago. We watched it again. It's fabulous. If you haven't seen it, go see it. The Green Book takes place in 1962. It's a true story about an internationally famous African-American pianist, one of the great pianists in the world, Dr. Don Shirley. He's going on a tour, concert tour of the Deep South, and he needs a driver. So he hires this big-time Italian bouncer from the Bronx in New York, Tony the Lip, to take him to the South. And the movie is about the relationship between the two of them and what it's like for an African-American person to tour the South in 1962. And Tony the Lip is writing a letter home to his wife. And he's not the most educated person. And Dr. Don Shirley, who was very intellectual, very cultured, very educated, is helping him write a letter. And Tony writes as follows to his wife. He says, "Dear Dolores, sometimes you remind me of a house where the lights are on all the time, where everyone is happy inside." And I thought to myself, what a brilliant quote from a simple, uneducated fellow. You remind me of a house where the lights are on all the time, where everyone's happy inside. But what's more interesting about the story, friends, is that while I was watching the movie, I grabbed a piece of scrap paper that Jan had in our apartment, and it was the first piece of scrap paper I can lay my hands on. Here it is. And right at the top of this piece of paper, I want you all to see the quote. It's going backwards, so I'll read you what it says. On the sheet of paper, it says as follows: contentment comes of the heart, not the house. Contentment comes of the heart, not the house. Reminds me of the apartment I live in. Some of you congregants have been there. It's a very humble and very small apartment. I don't know, maybe it's 1,000 square feet or 1,100 square feet. It's pretty humble, but it's nice because we made it into a warm home. Although I always nag my wife about moving, and unfortunately, due to circumstances that I can't enter into right now, it is not possible for us to move to a nicer, a bigger, more comfortable place. Our original intent was to move there for a year or two, find our feet, see if we're happy in Toledo, and if we are, we would move to a bigger place. Never happened. It's now 9 years, and we're still living there, which brings me back to that quote. I don't know if that is a message for me, but it's certainly a message for all of us from my wife's scrap paper pad. Contentment comes of the heart, not the house. And I wonder if that's what the Shirat Hayam, the song of the crossing of the sea, was talking about when it said that God had established this holy place for us to dwell. Is that what the Shira is talking about? It's not the mortar, it's not the bricks, it's the feeling inside our hearts. And with all of us stuck at home now, it's almost 3 months since this pandemic hit. Spending a lot of time at home. Some of us are probably hating our homes. Some of us are probably improving our homes and enhancing them. Wonderful opportunity to do that. Reminds me of a quote that I want to end with from, you named it, Ethics of Our Fathers, Pirkei Avot. Chapter 3 starts out, Ben Zoma, the great Rabbi Ben Zoma in his wisdom says, Ezehu Ashir, who is wealthy? Hasameach bechelko, a person who is happy with what they have. Same as the quote on this little piece of scrap paper. Contentment comes of the heart, not the house. This is a wonderful message for us all to take to heart during these tough times that are showing signs of subsiding. And I hope soon our shul will be open, everything will be open, and life will start to go back to normal, whatever that normal is going to be. Shabbat Shalom. I miss you all. Stay well, smile, love the home you live in, be content with what you have. Lehitraot. Hope to see you soon.